I call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to have oath of office and certificate election presentation. And Deputy Mayor Wendell, Councilmember Avery, and myself.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, repeat after me. I, Ope Niemeyer,
I, Ope Niemeyer,
having been elected to the office of mayor
having been elected to the office of mayor,
within and for the city of Brookings, South Dakota,
say again,
within,
within the city of Brookings, South Dakota,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of South Dakota,
the Constitution of the state of South Dakota,
and the charter of the city of Brookings,
and the charter of the city of Brookings.
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
perform all the duties
perform all duties
of the office of the mayor
of the office of the mayor
of the city of Brookings, South Dakota.
of the city of Brookings, South Dakota. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And then we all sign a code of ethics. All right. I don't care which one you want. All right, let's do you first. I got Wayne. Sorry, I'm sorry. Wayne, you're going to do first.
Me first?
Yes, sir.
Good.
I, Wayne Avery,
I, Wayne Avery,
having been elected to the office of council member
having been elected to the office of council member
within and for the city of Brookings,
within and for the city of Brookings,
South Dakota,
South Dakota,
do solemnly swear I will support
do solemnly swear I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of South Dakota,
the Constitution of the state of South Dakota,
the charter of the city of Brookings,
the charter of the city of Brookings,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
perform all the duties of the office of council member
perform all the duties of the office of council member
of the city of Brookings, South Dakota.
of the city of Brookings, South Dakota.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sign that.
This too?
Yeah. Oh, I think I got to sign too. All right. You ready?
I am.
I, Nick Wendell,
I, Nick Wendell,
having been elected to the office of council member
having been elected to the office of council member
within and for the city of Brookings, South Dakota,
within and for the city of Brookings, South Dakota,
do solemnly swear I will support
do solemnly swear I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and the Charter of the City of Brookings,
and the Charter of the City of Brookings,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of council member of the City of Brookings, South Dakota.
of council member of the City of Brookings, South Dakota.
Very good.
All right.
Use the same pen, Mike.
Okay.
All right. Will the clerk please take attendance?
All council members are present, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Avery,
Aye.
Duran,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tildenburn,
Aye.
Wendell.
All right, item 5A, and that's what we're here with the city, or with the county commission. Item 5A, public hearing and action on ordinance 24-004, an ordinance to rezone outlots 6, 7, 8, 9, and 14 in the west half of the south half of the northeast quarter in section 11, township 109, range 50, Brookings County, South Dakota, from a joint jurisdiction agricultural district to a joint jurisdiction residence, apartments, mobile homes, and manufactured housing district to a joint jurisdiction business heavy district. Community Development Director Mike Struck will present this item.
Council members and the county commission for meeting here this evening to address this rezoning ordinance in the joint jurisdiction area just south of town. The applicant is proposing to rezone a couple of outlots of currently zoned ag and residential 3A zone property to a business B3 district. You can see the area on the overhead map. It's the yellow outlined area. It is consistent with our future land use map for the city of Brookings as an urban medium intensity. It would support commercial rezoning as proposed. Adjacent properties in the vicinity around the area consist of B3 zone property to the west, R3A to the north, ag to the northeast, the east, and a little bit to the southwest, and then there's a combination of R3A and B3 zone property directly south of this. This does come to you as unanimous approval from the joint planning commissions of both the city and the county, and I would stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mike. Open the public hearing on this item. Is there any public comment on this particular item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Oh, please.
Hello. Heather Bertram. I live right across from where the driveway is supposed to be put in. When I was visited about this at my home, I said to each their own. I wasn't thrilled, but you know, things are becoming more Brookings and we're moving forward. What I wasn't told was about the driveway across from my home where I also run my business and I raise my children. My mother-in-law also lives next door. She has 6 kids, times 2 kids per household. When we have a gathering, they're everywhere. Now, everyone should say, you know, you teach your children not to run in the road and not to talk to strangers. My 4-year-old son, Charlie, has autism, and it's not the same for him, at least not at this moment. I hope that one day he might understand that, but he doesn't. So that's one main reason that My husband and our household does not approve of the driveway directly across from our home. On the outside, you know, and on Main, they want to come in and out, that's to each their own. Besides that, the safety and security of our homes right now it's our oasis. We're kind of tucked in there, and I'm very nervous about the strange people coming in and out, not only around our children, but around our homes. Like I said, we run a business. We have a lot of things worth value. And I think I speak for everybody on our road when we say we're just not comfortable with the entrance right on our road there. Thank you.
Hi, Sean Bertram, Heather's mother-in-law. I brought it up at
Please
the
give,
last.
so,
Um,
share record of it.
I came last time and brought up the fact that we do live on a privately maintained road. This is not a county-maintained road. So I do feel like we should have a little bit more say on what driveways are allowed there. Yeah, I know he can get access off Highway 77. He also already has access off of 37th, which is where the property address is. So that's our thing, is we just don't want the driveway on 36. Thank you.
Sixth Street South, just right down from them. They told me that they received a certified letter. I didn't receive one. The neighbor did, they did, and then both their homes did. I didn't receive one. And we maintain the road. I take care of that. We do the snow removal, we do the road, or the grading and bringing in gravel. The other day, he has earth-moving equipment there, came in off 36, got stuck going down in the ditch and backed up and kept trying to get unstuck. And said he'd fix it and have the road graded, and I see he brought some gravel in and stuck it in the holes, but it has not been graded. And he said he'd pay for that. That was just not this last week and the weekend before. So as far as the driveway coming off our street, I don't agree with that either. He can do it off Main, he can do it off 37th if everybody over there approves it. I guess that's my feelings on it. I also heard one other thing, that he might do like a market at the back of the property. I wasn't told about that. He had mentioned storage units, so. That's all I have.
Close the public comment. Entertain a motion to approve. Comments after the motion's made? Yes. Do I have a?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Moved and second. Is there any council questions or comments? Councilmember Specker.
Right now, is this or plat layout?
The action item before you tonight is simply a rezoning of the property.
So does the actual plans for this go to the planning commission?
It depends on the type of uses that would be allowed. So with our zoning ordinance, if you have a permitted use or permitted special use, there is no further action required by the planning commission. If it's a conditional use, then it would require our recommendation by the planning commission and come forward to the city council. But at this point in time, it's just simply to put the zoning in place for a B3 zone property, and then any use that would be allowed within the B3 is something that they could do on the property. Whether or not it's a permitted special or a conditional use would depend on, what additional action would be needed by the governing body.
So the issue of the driveway and that private road, at what point does,
It's not an issue for us to deal with. That's, you're allowed an access onto a roadway, and so that's not relevant to the zoning issue tonight.
even off a private road?
Pretty much all the roads in the rural areas are considered private, except for the ones that are maintained by the county, and then the township has certain roads, but most of these roads down between like 32nd and about 40th, 44th, they're all pretty much private, and they're maintained by the adjacent property owners.
Yeah. Councilmember Tilton Burn.
In the audience, the vote that's happening tonight does not dictate where inlets and outlets go. It doesn't dictate whether or not it would go onto a specific road. We don't have a say in that tonight. And so really the decision that's before us tonight is just strictly the zoning and stating what types of businesses would be allowable on that plot of land, not the layout of the building, the structure, and the roadways themselves. So just wanted to provide that clarity to you, and that we don't have the ability to vote on where the inlets and outlets would be as of this evening. I do have one additional question, and that is in regards to the area of the land that overlaps the wetland, and do we have a sense of what type of businesses would be going out here, and whether or not they would be impacted by water due to that space being wetland area?
At this particular time, there isn't specific uses that have been identified, applied for permitting it. Basically, anything within the B3 would qualify as a potential use in this area. Now, there's been suggestions that they're looking at a particular, they narrowed in on some particular uses like storage units and such. One of the things that when we looked at this and had preliminary discussions with the applicant is more through the amendment process with the future land use is we felt it was more appropriate for urban medium intensity commercial use because we did not want to see basements of any sort out in this area because of the water table issues.
And for clarity, would B3 allow for those types of basements to be there, or would we really not see that?
Well, commercial uses are typically associated with foundation and at grade construction. Seldom do you get into subgrade, but it is possible that they could go that route, but it wouldn't be advised in this area.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Go ahead, Bonnie.
Is this in the new floodplain?
It's not in the new floodplain. It's not in the existing site. When we looked at this process with the future land use map amendments several months ago, we dived into it in a little bit more detail. I think the reason it was classified as that open wetland area was probably more associated with the soil classifications. And some soils are a little bit more permeable than others. And so, but those can be overcome with different design options or even pulling some of the material out and putting in, classified filled material into those areas to maintain a strong subbase.
Any other questions? All right. Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Duran.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Specker.
Aye.
Tiltonburn.
Aye.
Wendell. Avery.
All right. I'll turn the meeting over to the Chairman of the Commission, Larry Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor Niemeyer. I entertain a motion to.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the commission?
The process here for applicant then to build will then turn over to the city, correct? And they will submit the building permit and that kind of stuff, and verification of that. Is that correct, how the process is going?
Once property is rezoned from an ag zone to any other use, then it becomes the administration of the city.
In the joint jurisdiction, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions?
Just a quick one, Mike. Do they have any regulations of access on a B3 to Highway 77 Main Street South? Is there any reason they couldn't put a driveway there?
There's no reason why they couldn't. It's recommended or advised to minimize the number of access points onto that, so one could be allowed. We certainly wouldn't encourage more than one access out onto Old Highway 77.
I just wanted to establish the fact that it is possible through maybe the neighbors' negotiations, whether it's good or bad, works or not, that you could request that they look at an access off the Main Street South. Depending on B3, I would not see them wanting to put any type of business with traffic on a private road. It's gravel. I would want to come off the highway. Just a personal point of view. I support the rezoning, but I think that needs to be addressed by the neighbors. Maybe even a road agreement of some sort might change their mind and they'd want to put it off the highway.
Any further questions? Hearing none, will the county clerk please call the roll?
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Hostler,
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Joint City Council and County Commission portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. I'll go with that.
Aye.
Thanks for doing business with us, gentlemen. We will entertain a brief recess so that the don't work at all. Well, I guess we don't have to listen to the city manager. let's get started with this. First thing we got is open forum. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address the council on an item that's not on tonight's list? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Approval of the consent agenda. Are there any items that needs to be removed from the consent agenda?
I would like to, the liquor, trying to find the annual malt beverage liquor license. I was just wondering if Bonnie knew off the top of her head whether any of these have violations.
Councilmember Specker, the malt license renewals that have violations, you will be hearing from them at the May 28th council meeting. There will be a formal public hearing for those licenses. The ones on the consent agenda this evening do not have any compliance check failures.
And so then I have a second follow-up question to that, and that's whether the city or the state has any law about what happens if there's more than one violation over, is there any time limit on the number of violations you can have?
You want to answer that tonight, Bonnie?
We will present that information to you at the May 28th council agenda.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any public comment on any of the items on the consent agenda? Seeing none, council questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Rasmussen?
Aye.
Specker?
Aye.
Tiltonburn?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Duran?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye. All right, now we have presentations and reports. And I've got 3 proclamations here, and I'd like to invite the Advanced Self-Advocate Group up. Okay. All right, so if you guys want to come around here and face the crowd here, that'd be great. All right. So, mayoral proclamation. Whereas Global Accessibility Awareness Day is commemorating its 13th anniversary of educating about digital access and inclusion for the more than 1 billion people with disabilities. And whereas GAAD has led by the AAD Foundation, which was founded on the 10th anniversary of and whose mission is to disrupt the culture of technology and digital product development to include accessibility as a core requirement. And whereas workplaces welcoming of the talents of all people, including disabled people, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community and strong economy. Yet more than 98.1% of corporate and organizations' homepages have at least one web contact accessibility guidelines 2.0 failure, thus making it difficult for those members of the disabled community from fully accessing information. Now therefore be resolved that I, Ope G. Niemeyer, Mayor of the City of Brookings, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Global Accessibility Awareness Month, and I call upon employers, schools, and other community organizations in Brookings to observe this month with an appropriate review of their digital content and to address issues identified in such reviews that prevent disabled people from accessing and using digital content provided by these institutions. Cool. Get you up by the mic. Oh.
Thank you, Mayor Niemeyer and the City of Brookings for this proclamation declaring May 2024 as Global Accessibility Awareness Month. On behalf of the Brookings Area Self-Advocates Group, we are honored and grateful for this recognition of the importance of digital access and inclusion for people with disabilities.
It's on.
This proclamation highlights the crucial need for all aspects of our community to be inclusive and accessible, especially in the digital realm. We appreciate the emphasis on workplaces, schools, and organizations to review their digital content and address any accessibility barriers identified.
By raising awareness and taking action to improve digital accessibility, we are not only ensuring equal access to information and opportunities for people with disabilities, but also fostering a more inclusive society for all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you once again for proclamation and our commitment to advising accessibility to and inclusion in our community.
Thank you very much. All right, and I will give this to one of you. All right. Thank you. So now I think I want the city clerk and the deputy city clerk to come up here. I'm not that techie. Make sure this thing's on yet. All right. All right, mayoral proclamation. Whereas the office of the city clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the city clerk provides the professional link between citizens and the agencies of government, serving as an information center. And whereas the city clerk is pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the main duties of the city clerk include preparing his council agendas and minutes, maintaining ordinance and resolutions, files, keeping the official records of the city, conducting local elections, and processing licenses. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Ope G. Niemeyer, Mayor of the City of Brookings, do hereby proclaim May 5 to 11, 2024 as City Clerk Week, and extend appreciation to City Clerk Bonnie Foster and Deputy City Clerk Deshawn Scott.
I just want to take a moment to extend a thank you to all the municipal clerks and finance officers who serve across the state of South Dakota. The dedication, the professionalism, and the unwavering commitment to public service are commendable. Their tireless efforts behind the scenes keep our cities running smoothly day in and day out. As city clerks, we wear many hats: record keepers, election officials, information providers, and public liaisons. Each task is undertaken, no matter how small, contributes to the greater good of the cities and its citizens. It is the mission of the Brookings City Clerk's Office to serve, to inspire, and to make a positive difference in the lives of those we are privileged to serve. Thank you.
Okay, and so John Thompson and the whole Public Works crew, come on up. Not all of you, but most of you. Yeah. All right. So, mayoral proclamation, whereas Public Works professionals focus that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Brookings. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, employees of all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, protecting our nation's transportation, our water supply, our water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest of the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of Brookings to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas 2024 marks the 64th Annual National Public Works Week. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Opke G. Niemeyer, Mayor of the City of Brookings, do hereby proclaim May 19th to 25, 2024 as National Public Works Week. And I urge all citizens to join in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions that they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Thank you.
Go for it, John. So, I have a little presentation here too, if we could start that, buddy. Getting to you, my name is John Thompson with Public Works Director here with the Brookings. I want to first thank the commission, thank the council and mayor for the proclamation and recognition of National Public Works Week. I'll bend down. This year's national theme is Advancing Quality of Life for All. Not only is this an accurate mission statement for the Public Works Department, it's also included in the City of Brookings mission statement itself. So as everything we do has an impact on the quality of life for our residents and visitors each and every day. On the overhead, hopefully, yep, it's going timed out. There's a slideshow depicting just a few of the jobs that Public Works team is responsible for. As this is running, I'm going to provide a quick overview of the divisions within the Public Works Department. Here in Brookings, we have 3 divisions: engineering, streets, and solid waste. In the engineering division, they handle an array of daily questions and issues. Their primary focus, though, is surveying, design, construction, inspection of streets, storm drainage, pedestrian connectivity, and future planning. The engineering division is also responsible for the Brookings Regional Airport. The regional airport provides daily operations and maintenance to our regional aviation specialists, and it supports SDSU's aviation program and many local businesses, as it offers a 6,000-foot by 100-foot runway with precision ILS and GPS approaches, making it very viable for light to medium class jet operations. In the streets division, we maintain over 260 lane miles of roads and 9 miles of asphalt, 9 miles of gravel, I should say. There are 4 focus areas within the streets division: street maintenance, street signage and mosquito abatement, and fleet maintenance. Streets, yeah, I said that right. Street maintenance includes the storm drainage maintenance, pothole repairs, crack sealing, street sweeping, bulky item pickup, and winter operations. Street signs and striping maintenance includes over 4,000 street signs, of which 400 or 10% of them are being replaced each year, and all the painted and thermoplastic markings that you see on the streets. Mosquito treatment and abatement includes treating roughly 24 square miles, including 40 detention basins and 12 miles of ditches. In our fleet maintenance, we have 1 mechanic that maintains over 200 pieces of equipment, including both on and off-road vehicles, ranging from a small equipment such as the ATV up to a $450,000 John Deere motor grader. The last division is solid waste. In this division, we have both collections and disposal. The collections section operates automated trucks and collects roughly 5,700 residential customers of solid waste each week in the recycling carts. And then during the summer months, their yard waste twice a week. The disposal section operates the regional landfill, which serves approximately 45,000 residents within multiple jurisdictions and counties. 6 days per week, and processes over 60,000 tons of waste per year. The landfill also provides free compost to residents and free drop-off of clean lumber and wood debris. So kind of if you can envision this without public works, If there wasn't a Public Works team and all these tasks were mismanaged or abandoned, it would lead to a significant loss of quality of life issue for our residents and the impact to our economic viability of our community. I honestly cannot say enough about this team and their passion in providing exceptional services to our community each and every day of the year. It doesn't matter if it's rain, storms, floods, blizzards, or catastrophic events such as the derecho in 2022, your Public Works team is here and ready to serve. In closing, I'd like to invite the public and City Council to our open house on Wednesday, May 22nd. Hopefully that's up there, yep, starting at 4:30. That's going to be over the Streets facility. It's a great opportunity to come up close and personal to the equipment that we use and maybe even meet some of the team members. Thank you, Council, for recognizing National Parks Week, and that concludes staff's presentation. Cool. Thanks. Yeah. What did we talk to? Get a picture together? Sure. And we'd like to get one picture together like this. We're going to come down. Can Council come down?
Okay, John will give us an informational update on the spring bulky item pickup.
Yes. So good evening, Mayor, City Council members. John Thompson with Public Works. To provide your council with an update on our 2024 spring bulky item pickup. As this first slide here, as you can see on the overhead, the number being in the category of and which is 52% less than last year, and the largest increase being in the category of trees. The residential drop-off category is where the customer actually drives out to the landfill and disposes of their waste. In 2023, we had about 433 visitors to the landfill, and in 2024, we had about 260. We're not able to pinpoint the reasoning behind this, but it may be attributed to a little bit slower economy and the fact that we now require the customer to provide proof of residency. As for the increase in tree waste, it's likely attributed back to the 2022 derecho event, which caused a decrease in the 2023 tree numbers. Next slide. What we saw this year, we had, the God, it was actually, I'm sorry for that misspelling, it really said the good, the bad, and the ugly. We had a lot of wish recycling going on. So people would put out things that maybe somebody else might want to take, and it really probably could have still fit in the cart, but there was a lot of that we did see. We did see a lot of cardboard out there too that could have been broken down and put into their carts for recycling. Anything picked up on the side of the road, and the curbside on this event, other than metal, actually gets disposed of. The trees too also go through recycling, but there was really also a small issue with separation where we'd like to see metal separated from trash, separated from wood. It just makes it a lot easier for the staff. And you can see in a couple of those pictures, like those two little boxes down in the lower left-hand corner, that's really what was the only thing out on the curb. So, but we still stop and pick all that up. Next slide. So this year we did continue to use the real-time tracker. It worked really well. It's worked well for the last few years. Any resident who wants to see where we're at and how fast we're cleaning up the city, they can look at this every day. It gets updated. The segments in the map get updated instantaneously, and then at the end of each day, we update the weights. And we do have a QR code if you ever want, if any of the residents want to look at that. And the next slide. So in closing, so this is going to be a quick, short presentation. I'd like to thank Public Works team, the Streets Division, Public Works and the Solid Waste Division teams, both collection and disposal, Parks, Rec, and Forestry team, Community Development Code Enforcement, Community Development, our GIS team, our City Public Information Officer, Cook's Waste Paper and Recycling, they do the roll-offs for us, and then also the Brookings community for engaging in this and helping us clean up our community. With that concludes staff's presentation. I stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you, John. Any questions, comments from council? Thank you, John.
Yep.
Oh, Paul.
I just want to personally thank everyone who participated in this. You know, this is one of those programs that makes Brookings absolutely beautiful. Most communities don't do this across the nation. The city council budgets over the last 5 years close to $1 million. And when you think about it, most people comment on how beautiful, welcoming, and clean this community is. This is just one of those programs, and thank you to the employees who's dedicated to this service. Thank you.
All right, move on. For Municipal Utility Board? Nope. All right. How about Brookings Health? Councilmember Duran.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So had an audit presentation. We also had an overview of the community health worker program, overviewed industry trends, and then discussed employee appreciation efforts. Couple notable statistics from fiscal year 23 is there was over 11,000 ER visits, over 375 births, and over 3,700 surgeries. Turnover is the lowest since 2021 in Q1, with overall being less than 1%. So while retention has increased, there's still a need for more applicants for certain positions. This summer is also the second year participating in the 10-week paid internship for nursing students nearing graduation, where students rotate in different areas of the hospital, and 2 interns were selected who are current BHS employees. Otherwise, several community fairs were attended, including the Brookings County Suicide Awareness event that was discussed, and year-to-date awards for the health system to recognize them was that BHS was named the top 20 rural community hospital in the U.S. by the National Rural Health Association. It was also included on the Chartis Center for Rural Health on the top 100 rural and community hospitals list for the 9th year, and it was recently recognized as a 4-year champion to Newsweek's list of world's best hospitals. So thank you to everyone who works at the health system. End of report.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, we'll move on. Action on contracts and change orders. Item 10A, action on resolution 24-048, a resolution authorizing the Brookings mayor to enter an agreement for financial assistance between the city of Brookings, Brookings Municipal Utilities, and the South Dakota Department of Agricultural and Natural Resources. Eric Wick from BMU will, he's water, wastewater engineering manager, will present this item.
Thank you, Mayor. The resolution before you supports the water system upgrade. So over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, we've been before the board. We've talked about this project. It is the water treatment plant on 34th Avenue, a substantial amount of piping to and from the well fields and out into the distribution system, and then additional municipal wells. So a little over 2 years ago, we were going through our financing for this through the state revolving fund. And we apply as BMU by and through the city of Brookings. So we passed a BMU resolution, as did the city. That the total project is $114.7 million, so a substantial project. And at that time, in 2022, we were awarded $21 million of ARPA, the American Recovery Act. So that was a straight up grant, so that is money we don't have to pay back, as opposed to the state revolving fund is, of course, a loan. We received a welcome letter last month, actually came through the city, and said that there was unused ARPA funding. So $89 million total, of ARPA money that was not spent in the first round. So actually, I believe it was projects that were not, that did not move forward 2 years ago. So as a project and as a community, we're eligible for an additional up to $9 million in ARPA grant. So again, that is money that would not have to be repaid as a result of this project. So the BMU board passed a resolution last week supporting this request for additional funding. The resolution that you will hopefully pass tonight does the same on the city's behalf. There is a letter of support from Mayor Niemeyer that is required to submit this for this additional funding. So it was a welcome letter. It's welcome news for us. I would stand for any questions and ask for your support.
Thanks, Eric.
So moved.
Is there any public comment on this item? Council have any questions, comments? Councilmember Wendell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dollar number, did that come from the size of our original grant number, or how did the $9 million ceiling come into play?
That is a question I don't have a full answer for. Of the 89 million, I have not seen a breakdown of how that was allocated to other systems. But one thing I probably should have mentioned, one of the reasons we are eligible is because, one, we still have an active project that's underway. So it's a project in the works that has not spent our full project budget. And we also support other communities. So we have we are a regional water system in that we supply 3 other consecutive water systems, including the city of Aurora. So that made us eligible for the division of the 89 million. But how that 89 million was divided and who it was, I have not seen that list.
Thank you.
Questions? How is the water plant doing?
Really well. We're a little over, so we're about 55% of the cost of that project has been paid through pay applications. If you drive by within the last couple months, the building is really taking shape. So the precast walls have gone up over the course of the last 2 months. It actually looks like something other than a lot of concrete and rebar. So the interior is, you're kind of getting the shell up at this point. So there's a lot of interior work that needs to be done, but it is starting to look like a treatment plant. And the size of it, especially when they set up the lime silos, it was impressive how large those were. So I'm pleased with how that's moving along.
Councilmember Specker?
I just wanted to thank you for keeping your eyes open. That's a lot of money that will be well spent.
Thank you, I agree.
CEO, Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, Steve Meyer, BMU's general manager. I also just want participation in this process. It's been our third time on this same project before you. I appreciate your help. We are diligently applying for this possible grant. So every bit of support we can get is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Without any other comments, please call the roll.
Stern.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Duran.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 10B, action and resolution on 24-031, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the Hillcrest Park Pickleball Courts project. Kristen Zimmerman, our Park and Rec Director, will present this item.
Thank you, Mayor. For you is just as a change order, just over $99,000. What that will do is increase the footprint of the 8 pickleball courts and add additional fencing in between the courts that will allow for a more competitive play. We'll be eligible for state and regional tournaments for pickleball.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any public comment on this item? Council have any questions, comments? So, Councilmember Wendell?
Thank you, Mayor. incorrect in this, please correct me, but there were some, the overall bids for this project came in lower than we had anticipated, so there was already some cost savings, right? And so this expansion really still brings the project in under what our original anticipated dollar amount was, right?
Yes, we are still well within budget.
And I think it opens up the door to be able to host some, as you said, state and regional events and make, give us an opportunity to maximize these new pickleball courts. So I think this is a great step.
Councilmember Tilton Burn.
With this expansion, we would be able to host those events that are state and regional tournaments. This really could provide an opportunity for the city to actually see a return on the investment in these pickleball courts because of the revenue that might be generated by folks coming to Brookings, staying. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the nation. And so I certainly anticipate that we would be able to get some of those tournaments. At this point, are there any plans in the works to work with either Visit Brookings or other organizations within the community to try and secure some of those tournaments?
Yes, on a constant basis, we're always working with Visit Brookings and some of those community organizations like the Chamber to really get those events into all of our park facilities, not just the pickleball courts.
Any other comments, questions? To have in. Please call the roll.
Tilton Burn.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Doran.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Specker.
Aye.
Okay, item 10C, action and resolution, a resolution awarding bids on 2024-07 STI freight on board asphalt material. Charlie Richter, our city engineer, will present this item.
Requesting approval of Resolution 24045 for the award of the 2004 Freight on Board asphalt material contract. This is the annual contract awarded for the asphalt material used by the Street Division to repair asphalt pavement throughout the city. Bids for this project were opened on April 30th, where we received one bid. This year's lowest bidder is Bose Construction, $9,160, which is 2% higher than last year's bid. There are sufficient appropriations in the CIP accounts for this contract. Public Works will be awarded the contract for this year. I stand here for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chair.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, council have any questions? Please call the roll.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Doran.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Specker.
Aye.
Tilton Burn.
Aye.
All right, item 10D, action on resolution 24-046, a resolution awarding bids on project 2024-08 STI street maintenance and overlay project. Charlie also will present this item.
Approval of Resolution 24046 for the award of the 2024 street maintenance annual street maintenance project that includes asphalt milling, dig-outs, ramps, valley gutters, and overlays on various streets. Also included in this project are utility upgrades by BMU for some of the streets scheduled for resurfacing. Included in this project for this year are the following locations. Pebble Beach, we plan to do a mill and overlay. Summit Circle, we are also planning to do a mill and overlay on this street. Wapaton Pass, this will include a reclamation, curb repairs, and new asphalt. 11th Street and 3rd Avenue dig out. We'll remove the asphalt and pave with 5 inches of asphalt at this location. 7th Street, we're planning a reconstruction, water main replacement, and curb and gutter repairs from Campanile to Jackrabbit. 1st Avenue and 8th Street, we plan to dig out the intersection, install new ramps, and a valley gutter. Anybody familiar with this location is familiar with the deadly valley gutter that I feel sorry for people with low riding cars. And the last project on this list is the landfill parking lot, removal of existing asphalt, grading of the existing gravel, and 6 inches of asphalt to expand their parking lot. Bids for this project were opened on April 30th, where we received one bid. This year's lowest bidder is Bose Construction Incorporated with a low bid of $1,206,481,035, which is 17% lower than our engineer's estimate, of which $340,543.35 is for BMU's utility work on 7th Street. There are sufficient appropriations in the CIP accounts for the city's portion of the project. Public Works recommends that Bose Construction Incorporated be awarded the contract, and I stand here for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Charlie. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any public comment on this item? See none. Close public comment. Questions, council? Comments? Always another good win. Way by a little bit. Please call the roll.
Avery,
Aye.
Dorn,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tildenburn,
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Okay. Item 12A, second reading and action on ordinance 24-00011, amendment number 2 to the 2024 budget. Ashley Wrench, our finance director, will present this item.
The second reading of ordinance 24-011, amendment number 2 to the 2024 budget. This amendment increases the budget for $103,860, carrying forward funds that were originally approved by ordinance 23-101, but being spent in 2024 rather than 2023 for the Library and Activity Center Design Consulting Services. No changes have been made to the details of this item since the first reading, and staff recommends approval as presented. That'll stand by for any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, does the council have any questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Dorn,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tildenburn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Motion passes. We go on to item 12B, the second reading and action on ordinance 24-012, 1012, amendment number 3 to the 2024 budget. Ashley Wrench will also present this item.
This is the second reading of ordinance 24-024 budget. This ordinance increases consulting and engineering budget in the Stormwater Fund by $21,000 for an amendment to the 6 Mile Creek feasibility study that includes additional fees due to the introduction of new FEMA floodplain mapping and an additional community meeting. No change has been made to the details of this item since the first reading, and staff recommends approval as presented. Stand by for questions. Thank you.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved second. Is there any public comment on this item? Council, any questions, comments? We're getting reimbursed for some of this additional funding, aren't we? Isn't there?
John or Charlie, this one? I think that the question is, are we getting reimbursed for this additional funding? I think that's still a question that we have before the state or FEMA.
Correct. That is a possibility with this contract amendment.
Okay.
FEMA has provided us with encouraging information on that, but we will not be able to guarantee that until we submit the final report.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. Any other council questions?
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tildenburn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
Dorn.
Aye.
Okay. Second reading action on ordinance 24-013, amendment number 4 to the 2024 budget. Ashley will present this item, or are you going to, Paul?
I will.
All right.
I was told earlier by Ashley I'm presenting this one. So, Mayor, City Council members, the city charter back in 1900 and is often used across the nation. Brookings City Charter was adopted in 2002 and amended in 2006. An informal internal review occurred in 2010 with no changes. The city charter's review should occur every 10 years, and the National Civic League has in 2021. The 9th edition contains engagement, the mayor and city council's role, and elections. The process will also explore increased opportunities to secure Brookings' local control. At the April 23rd council meeting, the City Council requested a refinement of the quote. The original quote as presented was $85,000. An adjusted proposal was submitted by the National Civic League for $72,863. That's included within your packet. The differences in proposals include a reduction in travel costs by cutting the number of in-person trips from 15 down to 9. It's a very intensive process where the commission and the consultants would meet quite regularly throughout the rest of the year. The consultants would also be relying on volunteer commission members to do targeted outreach to community groups. This is something very unique that we've never done before. It would also require an online process versus a second in-person meetings for a second round of community outreach within this process. Finally, it would eliminate the final commission meeting. They did add more additional work within the contract to assist staff in preparing for voter process should there be significant changes recommended from the commission. Staff does recommend that the council carefully consider and prioritize this initiative if desired. The process is very intensive and engaging if approved. If a charter review is warranted, staff recommends the original quote of $85,000, which will allow increased public engagement if the commission determines changes for a public vote is required in April. I also believe Doug, the president of the National Civic League, as well as Derek, is on the phone. Should council or the public have any questions of the National Civic?
All right, thanks, Paul. To approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any public comment, questions? Council members, questions, comments? Councilmember Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to quote, I was the counselor last week that had asked staff if we could go back to the league and ask whether or not we could revise the quote if we kind of looked at the cadre of services that the $85,000 would get us, if there would be a way to reduce that cost, if our staff took the lead or if the council took the lead on some of those services. My opinion, looking at the updated quote and, I think the $13,000 difference, I'm not sure that that cost savings outweighs the burden that it would place on staff. So I would tend to agree with the staff recommendation. If we do move forward, we should move forward with the $85,000 original quote rather than this revised $72,000 quote. I just don't think the cost savings makes a whole lot of sense given that we know that staff will likely be carrying the burden of the difference. So that would be my comment about the comparison between the two quotes we've received. If we do proceed, I would prefer us just to proceed with the full suite of services as a part of the initial quote.
Other comments, questions? Council.
A couple. We talked about that review every 10 years, and we did do some more, little bit of research on that, and in reading the actual charter document, it really doesn't say that. It may be best practices, I will grant you that, but it's not a condition of the charter. And then also in the time that I've been on council, I don't recall that we've ran into a time where we really wanted to take some action and we were barred by some shortcoming in our charter. It seems to be working. And then, the idea that you get is that this document is so complex and out of our ability, beyond our abilities to comprehend, I guess. And I would just, for a purpose of a visual aid, when you're thinking about this charter document, while it's I'll just show you what it is. This is it. It's really good reading, but it's not that involved or voluminous, I don't think. And then when I compare what this is, and I look at $85,000 to be spent to create a new one, which we very seldom ever refer to this document, and I'm not sure that there's any issues that are going to be changed by doing a new document. I have a problem with not the idea of going over the charter review. I think it's fine. The idea of spending that kind of resources on it is the issue with me. So, but the council will vote. Well, they will vote. Because what we have before us tonight is not really to debate the issues of it. It's just to say, are we going to provide the funds to pay for it?
Councilman Tiltonburn, please.
I would maybe have a differing opinion in terms of the use of the charter. I do think while we may not look directly at the words in it all the time or refer to it frequently, I do think it is our guiding document. And the way that we go about doing our meetings, the way that the city goes about operations and the way the council interacts is guided by our city charter. So while we might not look at it daily, it is something that on a daily basis we are regularly practicing what is outlined within it. Because of that, I do feel like a review is relevant, and I think if it's best practice, it is something that we should be doing. I still have a bit of question in my mind as to whether or not we move forward with the consultant, given the price, largely because I think there may be other ways that we could go about a review. And so one question I would have is, and I don't believe this is in there in the review of the charter that I did, but does the charter outline at all how the review must be done, whether or not that is through a charter commission, whether or not that is through a consultant, whether or not that is done by staff or council members? Is there guidance within the charter on how the review has to be done? And Steve, I guess I'm kind of looking at you for that.
There are alternatives as to how to approach it. There isn't really a lot of specific guidance as to the manner in which it's analyzed. There would be the charter commission, or staff could initiate a review of the charter with assistance from consultants or on our own.
I also have the question about in the packet. There's a lot of reference to a charter commission. Have we identified how that charter commission would be formed or who would serve on that charter commission?
Yeah, within your packet, there's a packet called the Charter Commission process, and in there it outlines your process that most best practices would go through. If you approve this consultant, the consultant would actually come back for a work session to talk about that process. It actually outlines, like any appointment, the mayor would make the appointment, but you as city council would vote on the appointment of those board members. In the packet, it outlines the various people that you should consider on this committee. It ranges from everyone and anyone. So it outlines it depending on your community. It also outlines the process as well. Doug or Derek might be able to comment further because they work with best practices in this process. Doug or Derek, are you on the line that maybe you could add a little bit more to this answer?
Yes, we are. This is Doug Linkart and Derek Okubo. Derek.
Derek and Doug, could you
Yeah,
talk?
we'd be glad to.
Yeah, could you talk about the process of selecting a commission?
You know, we have been involved in charter processes all over the country, and this is pretty much the example of how other communities do it. Typically every 10 years, and the charter commission is appointed by the mayor and council after some consultation. So it's really up to you how big the commission is and who's on the commission. But typically, it's a good opportunity to make sure that the community is still in keeping with their modern practices and exhibiting all the, the techniques that a city like Brookings should in terms of governance and public involvement and how departments are structured. So yeah, just in terms of how the commission is selected, that's really up to you.
We would suggest that the commission, charter commission members be representative of the community, of the different sectors, different perspectives. One of the main things is that they be willing to work and commit to the process, because their participation and commitment to seeing it through is crucial.
All right. Anybody else on council have questions? Please, Councilmember Duran.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. Staff in preparing for the council and voter process. Could Doug or Derek just overview what that addition of work entails?
Derek, would you like to take that?
Okay, sure. What will come out of the process are revisions to the charter, which will have to go to public vote. We would have to work with the city attorney in particular to make sure, and the city clerk, to make sure that everything is in place in preparation for the items to go to vote. And I believe that'll be in April, and what we've heard from the clerk is that we would need at least, I believe, in mid-February to have everything ready, written and ready to go to the polls. Did that answer your question, Councilwoman?
Councilman Duran, you have a follow-up question.
Thank you. The addition of this more work would be included also in that 85,000. It's included in both of these packages?
It is included in
Yes.
both. It is.
It is, okay, thank you. And then I was wondering, since it for the creation of the ballot question and before the election, would you have any guidance on how to prepare community education and outreach on the ballot once the voter process has started?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We would, yeah.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I have nothing to add, but that's a crucial part
Yeah.
of the whole initiative.
We would work, the initial part of this work is to talk to council members and then to interview community members and get to know, who the different interests are that are involved. And depending on how complicated the ballot measure ends up being, there may be significant sort of public outreach and education that's needed.
Okay, thank you. And then I have another question.
Another follow.
I was just wondering if you could overview, if we did not go with the consultant, the stress that this would put on staff to lead this project, and then if you could also add, if we did go with the consultant, what is the stress on staff changes?
Yeah, so if you didn't go with the consultant, you asked staff to do it. I've never done a city charter review. And so I personally feel that if you want the city charter review and it's a priority of the council, you should go with a consultant, because I can't give you that expertise. I know the charter. I've read our charter dozens and dozens of times, as well as the newest one and the city charter. I geek out on it. I love it. I know Steve has gone through it at least one time before, but we don't have that experience of other communities. The National Civic League has worked with communities all across the nation. In fact, there's a committee that meets, and I think over a 5-year period comes up with these recommendations for best practices. Us as a city, me as staff, I would have to make this a priority if council deemed it a priority, and therefore I would have to put just about everything else I'm doing aside to focus on this. But with that said, I really don't believe I as a city manager should be leading a process like this. It really should be a consultant working with the community with direction from the city council. If you have a city manager leading it, I could unintentionally guide it towards a certain direction that maybe it's something you might not desire as a city council. Also, once again, everything would be pushed to the side if I had to lead it. I would depend on Bonnie and Jake and, of course, Steve as well to help me with that process, and so it would burn them as well from a time perspective. Once again, it's transitioning then to the National Civic League. If they should be able to do it, that takes a lot of that burden off my plate, off Steve's plate, off Bonnie's plate, off Jake's plate. But more importantly, this community, you as a city council, are getting that expertise and knowledge of the last 123 years from the National Civic League.
Councilmember Specker.
Yeah, I think there's been some discussion of maybe having this commission be the one that revises it, or some people locally. And I think I feel a little uncomfortable with that, and am siding towards the contract, because I don't see who locally has experience writing city charters, and who locally knows what best practices are in terms of that. So I am tending to favor the contract.
Councilmember Rasmussen?
Thank you. I just had a quick question. The documents that are in our packet, such as the model city charter, guide to charter commissions, those types of supporting documents, are those only available for the city to use if we go forward with this contract, or are those resources that at any point we could access and utilize in a process?
Yeah, I believe most of those are free to the public. There might be a charge to some if you become a member, but regardless, most people can attain those documents.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
this is
correct.
Derek. We created those documents to use.
Andrew, do you have another question?
Just comment.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. I guess where I'm coming down on this is for us to use, I don't see, I guess, a reason to spend some money to have some folks come out here and help walk us through these documents. I do think there are people within our community who are more than capable to help us out and reviewing this charter, and definitely some folks who are willing to do that. I'd like to keep it local with people who really do know the community of Brookings and can use maybe some of these supporting documents to help aid them through this charter review. But I guess at this point, I'm just not super comfortable with, spending some more money on some consultants to come in and kind of do this revision for us. I know there's public comments incorporated in with it, but I just at this point, I'm not super comfortable with that.
Councilman Duran, do you have another comment, question?
Yes, I had one more question. I was just wondering, with the new sections that may be considered in this revision process, how outdated are these missing pieces? Like, how outdated were these pieces created and adopted in other city charters versus ours? Even though you review it every 10 years, I was just wondering how outdated those sections may be.
Doug and Derek might be able to comment on this. Doug and Derek, just for your knowledge, the city of Brookings model charter was modeled after, I believe, the 1990 version. And so there's about 30 years. I know that there's been, this is the 9th edition. And so 9 editions since then. I know the committee looking at model city charter ordinances have made multiple revisions throughout the year. Some of them minor. These ones seem more significant to be current with the times. Doug, Derek, I don't know if you can comment on the council member's question.
Charter is in line with the model city charter for the most part. What we've added in the past 10 or 20 years are sections regarding equity and public engagement, and just reinforce the notion that the community should be part of public decision making. I understand that there's been sort of a piecemeal approach locally of citizens who bring initiatives about different issues, like whether council members should be elected by ward. And this provides you that kind of comprehensive look together with the community to avoid those kinds of piecemeal conversations.
All right, any other comments, questions? I guess I plan on voting in favor of this. I don't think that we need to burden our staff with trying to do it in-house. Listening to Paul and I've had a discussion with Bonnie on this. We don't have the wherewithal or the resources to take the extra time to take a look at this. I do believe it is something that we need to do is to take a look at the charter and have a review on it. That must have been done just before I got on council, and so it's been a while. So with that being said, please call the roll.
Rasmussen.
No.
Specker.
Yes.
Tiltonburn.
Aye.
Wendell.
Yes.
Avery.
Nay.
Noren.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Doug and Derek, for being on the phone tonight.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you all.
Then I guess I would charge all the council to start thinking about good candidates to be on the commission. There is a little bit of a description, obviously, in our paperwork or our folder tonight that gives you an idea of the type of person that we're looking for to be on that commission. And maybe give some thoughts on that. I have a short list ready, but I'm open to quite a few more. I've already had a discussion with Councilmember Tilton Burns. She's given me a couple names that sound like a pretty good candidate. And we'll try and keep the commission down to less than 15. The one thing I do want to make a comment on is I want these people that will be on the commission to commit to this. This is important as far as I'm concerned for the city of Brookings, and they need to be able to commit to the time that will be involved in this. So, all right, we'll move on to second reading and action on ordinance 24-014, amendment number 5 to the 2024 budget. Paul or Steve, do you want to address this one?
Derek Okubo.
This will be me.
Has left.
Steve can comment on this as well. $1,000 budget amendment.
Doug Linkart.
Has
Yeah.
left.
Once again, this is a $350,000 budget amendment to address a long-standing substandard property issue and provides assistance for potentially displaced residents in Brookings. Of this request, $170,000 will assist in mitigating up to 30 properties with associated costs, including demolition, structure, removal, and landfill costs. There's also $180,000 allocated the case management support and administrative facilitation. This will be provided through Interlakes Community Action Partnerships, also known as ICAP. The program will demonstrate compassion for the displaced residents due to uninhabitable conditions at Shady Acres. Staff does recommend approval of this request.
Steve, you want to make any comments?
Yes, I'd just like to kind of bring the council up to date on recent communications, which I think have been very positive with respect to the property. Number one, we have a real good dialogue established with counsel or an attorney for the property owners. And so there's been a lot of communication recently about steps that they're taking to remove some of the trailers or mobile homes that really were clearly uninhabitable and in disrepair. So that I am optimistic, that we have this good dialogue, which I think is important anytime we're dealing with nuisance abatement, because the first responsibility would be with the property owners to clean up their own property. And that has progressed very quickly in the last couple of weeks. And we do hope that that continues, because all of that work has been done by the property owners. So we've had good dialogue. We do expect that to continue to the end and to the conclusion. We're not exactly sure what future steps will be taken by the property owners, but from what I understand through their representative, and the owners may wish to comment today, they're going to work on each one of the mobile homes within the property and clean it up. I drove out to the property today and looked at the condition, and all of those trailers, or 7 of the 10, I guess, have been removed and taken to the landfill. There's been a number of pickup trucks with debris loaded up, and so it is a work in process, and there's still a lot of work to be done. And the budget amendment, of course, would be a backup plan in the event that we do not have a successful conclusion on behalf of the property owners. We hope that this is completed quickly, and I'm told that it will be, because they are working as quickly as they can on an item-by-item basis to clean up the property. So I did want to bring the council up to speed, and if there's any questions that you might have as far as the specifics, let me know.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve.
Moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any public item or public comment on this item?
I'm Adam Schwenk. I represent my parents. Flew in here today from Houston. I live in Padre Island, Texas. I haven't been back in Brookings in 10 years. I came back a couple weeks ago to see the property. I hadn't seen it 10 years. I came back just to look at it, and I was here 3 days, and I took 9 trailers out. And I submitted the receipts to you, and it cost me $5,000 to take 9 out. So I'm struggling with the $350,000 number. I don't know where you got it. I don't know if you got bids from contractors. I don't know how you just grab a number out of the air. It's inappropriate. It's not right. There's not 30 trailers out there. Your numbers are wrong. There's 15. And it cost me $5,000 to take 9 out. I can come back in a week and I take them all out. It took me 12 minutes to take 1 down. I don't know how you come up with $180,000 to relocate families. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's so wrong to put a position to relocate families. There's only 15 trailers out there. There's only 15 families. There's not the 30 that you're claiming. I got a few things. I'll be quick. I'll get out of here. I just want to get a few things on the docket. There is no reason to budget $350,000 when the city has no evidence, no estimates, and no professionals to come up with that number, unless you are purposely trying to diminish the value of this land and purposely hinder the selling process that we've been working on. We've had 3 or 4 people interested, and now they've come back with lower numbers. After that radio stunt, that was hard on us. We had people that were interested in buying that property. The city has no basis for that number at all. There are 12 families left living there. How in the world is $180,000 needed to move 12 families? If this is such a nuisance to the city, why would an entire position be created by the city and a job be created to move 12 families? You're clearly not in any hurry to get this done, because if you were, there'd be no reason to hire someone for a new position with no end date for the job. Steve Breitzman, you also told us that there is a way to move them out without spending that money. So why are you trying to get permission to assess $180,000 against the property if needed? I don't see how you can legally pass a budget for 30 properties with 0 facts. There aren't 30 properties. You don't even have the amount of the trailers correct. Your number is off by almost half. I think if anyone here is using their education or their skills, there is no way you can pass this. There's many improper facts. You have your cost analysis, your cost analysis, your estimates. The information on the agenda makes it appear as if there is clearly an ulterior motive. And I'm a developer, I'm a contractor, and I can take those trailers. You're never going to take that property from us, so we don't need this. You're not going to put a lien against that property. I'll come here and take them down in 3-4 days. I'll bring my whole crew. So we don't need this budget. It's not needed. I'll take care of it. I'll work with Steve, and I'll get it handled, whatever we got to do.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Comments, questions from the council?
I would just like to clarify that this is a budget. property owner takes them down on their own. And if they take them down on their own, there won't be anything assessed. This is a worst case scenario, and we started with all the property there. If you hadn't, and it clearly sounds like you've taken some of the property down. So if you continue the process, then this budget, these monies, if allocated, will stay with the city council and not be assessed. But if the process, if you do not take down the property, then it does allow us the money to help relocate those families. It does provide the money to take down any remaining property.
You don't need 350,000. I took 9 of them out for 5,000 and submitted the receipts. You can't, how do you just grab a number out of the sky? It is so far out there. Prusman said they'd do it all for 60 grand. How do you come up with 350,000? Where's your receipts? Show me a receipt, or you just grab a number? It doesn't make sense.
I can,
How do you pass a budget without
sure,
something?
So I can explain the numbers if you wish. There's about 150,000 put aside for all the trailers to be removed. That number was based on the disposal costs at the landfill. Also, there's increased fees that will take place after the first year based on our budget. So we increased the budget based on that. Once again, that was at the very beginning of the process before you had removed any properties. The other money, the remaining, I believe, $150,000, $170,000, about $100,000 of that is dedicated just directly towards families, and the other is for a position that would be temporary, not full-time, but temporary, working with ICAP. So there's a breakdown in those. Not all $350,000 is for the disposal of the property. Once again, about $150,000, $170,000 for the disposal. Once again, there's some increased dollars in there because we assumed all the properties having to be remediated and disposed of. That's also based on the cost. The other remaining dollars was once again for displacing the families, and that was once again worst case scenario, assuming everything was occupied. Once again, this has been a 4.5 year process.
No, it hasn't. They've responded. No, it hasn't. They've responded. That's not right. When you say it's been a 4-year project, you're wrong. When you send something to them and they respond and they take care of the issue, it's taken care of. That's not a 4-year process. That's not correct. That's not correct. If they've taken care of those issues that you sent out.
Steve, would you like to respond to that?
I think we can work together.
Me and Steve can work together, and he said there's a nonprofit. He has told us there's a nonprofit to reallocate those families. So how do you come up with $180,000 for that? If there's a nonprofit, Steve has told us that they have a public, do you know what the words are? A public assistance program?
Well, they still are going to have some overhead costs to the extent that we use their services to assist in relocation. I would acknowledge that it's a novel program to go beyond the removal of the mobile homes and to actually look at those families and try to address their needs and get them into good quality housing. That's not a typical city program. So
Yeah, but you said there is a public program for that.
Yes, there is.
So I don't know how you allocate $180,000 for it.
That public program that Steve is talking about is the one that we're allocating the money to. It's the same one Steve is talking about.
That would be that would be unrelated. It would just be an assistance so that there's a smooth path for those families or individuals, to have a comfortable move to good quality housing. That would have, really no bearing at all on, your parents or your family. That would just be to try to make it as smooth and seamless in the transition to good quality housing here in Brookings for those families. And it may not take a full amount or a fraction of that amount, but that will never be a cost that your family would have to face. That's just
Well, I would never let that happen anyway. I will take care of this. Working with Steve, I'll get this taken care of. And we don't agree to this monies. So I'm requesting a stay for tonight until I can come back with my attorneys. I flew today from Houston. I don't have time to be here. I'm building a 6-story hospital in Houston. I just finished a $7 million federal project in Corpus Christi for the city of Corpus with
Call the
federal
question.
funding. I'll get it taken care of.
I would
We
call
don't
the
need these
question.
monies. And I'm requesting a stay.
Let's just vote on this.
All right, Let's roll. Call the roll.
Aye.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
Durin,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Motion passes. Move on to item 12E, public hearing and action on temporary alcohol application for the Brookings Volunteer Fire Association street dance to be held in the 300 block of Main Avenue on July 20, 2024. Bonnie Foster, our city clerk, will present this item.
Mayor and council members, this is an application for the annual Brookings Volunteer Fire Association Street Dance. This will be the 108th annual street dance that they have held. All required documentation has been submitted and reviewed, and staff recommends approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any public comments on this item? Close public comments. Council questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
Doran,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker.
Aye.
Okay, item 12F, public hearing and action on a request for an on-off sale malt license for Jack's Entertainment, DBA Bank Vault and Bank Saloon, located at 327 Main Avenue. Bonnie Foster will present this item.
Mayor and council members, items 12F, which is the on-off sale malt license, and 12G, which is an on-off wine license with an operating agreement, are new for Jack's Entertainment. The owners are Todd Voss and Bob Winter. This location currently holds only an on-sale liquor license. They would like to add the off-sale portion of the malt and wine licenses to their establishment. Jack's Entertainment does not have any compliance check failures, and all required documentation has been reviewed and submitted. Staff recommends approval.
Thanks, Bonnie. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Does the council have any questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
Doran,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tilton Burn.
Aye.
Motion passes. 12G, public hearing and action on resolution 24-042, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an on-off sale wine operating agreement for Jack's Entertainment, DBA Bank Vault and Bank Saloon, located at 327 Main Avenue. Bonnie will also present this.
Mayor and council members, approval of this item will allow the city manager to enter into the first 5 years of a 10-year wine operating agreement. This is being added to Jack's Entertainment at 327 Main Avenue. Staff recommends approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Moved and seconded. Open the public hearing on this item. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, close public hearing. Council have any questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Aye.
Doran,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell.
Motion passes. All right, we'll move on to other business. Item 13A, action on resolution 24-047, a resolution establishing the fees for the issuance of on-sale liquor and full-service restaurant on-sale liquor licenses in the city of Brookings. Bonnie Foster will present this item.
Mayor and council members, action was taken at the April 23rd council meeting to bring forth a resolution increasing the fee for both the on-sale liquor licenses and the full-service restaurant on-sale liquor license to each be offered at $100,000. This resolution is presented to you for action. Staff has no guidance and recommends the council take action they deem appropriate.
Thanks, Bonnie. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, council questions, comments?
Bonnie's motioning to me here. I think what some discussion that we've had is we proposed that the fee for the restaurant license stay at the $100,000, and that the fee for the unlimited straight liquor license be go to the same amount, $100,000. the idea being that the only license that's really available is the restaurant license. If you were to go to Bonnie and say, well, I want the $25,000 license for the liquor license, you would say, I don't have one. To obtain one, you'd have to go to the market, and the going rate for a liquor license in Brookings is established at $100,000. So we're not really raising that fee. We're just, what we'd be doing here is holding the status quo, what it is today. Now, the question I may address Steve, the reason that we're at $100,000 on a restaurant liquor license is because at one point there was a dispute, and there was essentially the city went to court to defend the cost of our liquor license, and the court said the value for a liquor license in Brookings is established by the last sale, and that's $100,000. So going forward, you will sell those licenses for that price. Now, is it your feeling that if we were to lower that we would be maybe opening ourselves up to have the same kind of legal action to bring that back? Or?
No, because that was a one-time formula or procedure established by state statute. And so the state in its decision, and then the evidence that supported the setting the fee at $100,000 was the last sale. There was factual evidence that came in that during that time period that we were required to evaluate sales, the price was $100,000. And so that mechanism is behind us, and the current procedure would leave it up to the council to decide on.
I think we've had quite some comparables from other cities that are in that area, so it's not an outrageous amount, and I think it's a lot of the. I'm surprised we haven't heard from more people, but I think it's a lot of the current holders of those licenses would feel that if we did anything other than leave it at that $100,000 amount, that we would be devaluing their assets by introducing a lower cost option in the market.
Well, that's a matter, I guess, of opinion.
It is, yeah. So,
Any other comments, questions? Councilmember Rasmussen.
Thank you. Like Councilman Avery said, that changing it at this point has that much of an effect because we don't have any of these liquor licenses available at the moment. Just one kind of, I guess, thing you could call it a concern maybe that I have is that with that $23,000 up to $100,000, I worry that can take away the ability of a startup business, someone who's trying to start up the business to then build their equity and their capital in their business. If the city is then coming in and raising that initial fee, that they would then be able to turn around and sell for a profit. And I think, I don't know, it may not be the end of the world for a business who's doing that, but I think it's just kind of the change from the status quo and how these types of businesses have operated in Brookings. And so I just kind of wondering out loud, I guess, if that is going to have any adverse effects on kind of those newer startup businesses or someone looking to open a bar or restaurant in town.
But the 25 to the 100, just to make sure this is clear, are ones that are based on population. So there wouldn't be another license available until we grow by another 10,000 people, or?
Bonnie, what's the number? 1,500, right?
Yeah, 1,500 is the number.
Right.
Okay.
For a fraction of that, it wouldn't be a full where we stand census numbers that might.
Okay. But it's not in the next year.
That could occur in 24. We typically receive census estimates in the summer, late summer, I believe. So
Okay.
We should have a current estimate by the end of June, early July for census numbers.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Chilton Burn.
I would maybe just clarify that to the point of a startup and a license that they would obtain at this point in time, if a startup were to want to make Brookings their home, they would be paying the $100,000 for the license, correct? Because we don't have the other licenses available, and so if that is a hindrance for a startup, it's a hindrance today anyway. Not that we want to create barriers for any startup companies, but the $100,000 price is the price that they would pay today. By making this change today, we would not be changing the cost that a new business would have to pay for that license.
Probably should clarify that. So if we're talking about an operating agreement, the current price would be the population, or $1 per person, correct? That's the current status quo. So if we have an operating agreement that's available, then it's $23,477 or that figure.
If there was one available, but we don't have one available, correct? Right.
And that's based because that's the lowest price we can sell it, or we can offer it at, correct? Correct. So, down the same line as Holly and Wayne, that 100,000 number was the number that was used to require us to put a restaurant license at 100,000. That was 14 years ago. And we've moved on from there, and so an operating agreement that could possibly get transferred for someone purchasing one of the current owners of an establishment that has an operating agreement, they may be paying more than 100,000. There might even be more value to that now than there was then. I'm thinking 100,000 is not too far out of line anymore. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's increased in value. It certainly isn't ownership, but it's value. But I guess with that, is there any other comments, questions? Please call the roll.
Doran.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Specker.
Aye.
Tiltonburn.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13B, action on resolution 24-043, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign and submit an agreement for funding from the Transportation Alternatives Grant Program for the construction of pedestrian improvements on Madera Avenue in the city of Brookings. Charlie Richter will present this item.
Requesting approval of Resolution 24043 to authorize the city manager to sign and submit a $670 the construction of pedestrian improvements on Madera Avenue near South Dakota State University. This grant agreement is through the state's Transportation Alternatives Grant Program that provides grants to communities to assist with construction of pedestrian-friendly infrastructure. This corridor on Madera Avenue from 8th Street to North Campus Drive is a well-traveled street for pedestrians. The sheer number of pedestrians, vehicular speed, and poor lighting make the 14 crosswalks challenging for pedestrians and vehicular traffic. The proposed improvements will consist of the following: speed tables on Madera Avenue north of 8th Street and south of North Campus Drive to help reduce speed. A shared use trail on the east side of the street from the Campanile to North Campus Drive, and improved lighting throughout this corridor. These improvements are scheduled for installation in 2026 to coincide with the sanitary sewer project for SDSU. The total cost for this project is $672,000, of which 80% will be covered by the grant. The remaining $134,400 will be funded equally by the city and SDSU. There are sufficient appropriations in the CIP account for this contract. Public Works is excited about this project and recommends approval. I stand here for any questions.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any public comment on this item? Any comments, questions from council? Councilmember Specker.
I'm just assuming that you did this in conjunction with us.
We've partnered with SDSU on coming up with an idea on how to make pedestrian crossings here safer. Like I've stated, there's 14 crossings here on this short stretch of street, And we all know that there's a lot of pedestrians who don't look at the traffic as you approach them, making it pretty dangerous for pedestrians.
Thanks.
Member Rasmussen?
Thank you. I remember a little while back, we saw a plan for this road that included a roundabout. Is this just an updated version of kind of some of those plans?
Yeah, we submitted a concept with a narrowing of the roadway with a roundabout to DOT for this TAP grant program. Unfortunately, they came back to us and said the narrowing of the street did not fit within the confines of the grant program as well as the roundabout. So this revision is solely for pedestrian crossings in this corridor.
Councilmember Tilton Burn?
As a follow-up to that, is the intent still to narrow the road and put a roundabout in just without the grant funding, or is that no longer part of the plan?
With it not being eligible for grant funding, we have come up with this revised one where we keep the width of the street the same with no roundabout and with these traffic calming measures to improve the crossings.
What you're does come back will not be part of the financing from this won't be part of the financing of this.
Correct. This project does not include the roundabout.
Right.
For TAP grant funding in
Correct.
the future as well.
All right. Okay. Please call the roll.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery, Norton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13C, action on Resolution 24-004, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign and submit an agreement for State Department of Transportation funding for a Brookings Transportation Planning Study. Charlie Richter will also present this item.
Requesting approval of Resolution 24044 to authorize the city managers to sign and submit a grant agreement for funding an update to the city's. The agreement is through the state DOT to provide grants to communities to assist with transportation studies. The current master transportation plan for the city is approximately 13 years out of, we provided the current one is about 13 years old, and the state has recommended that we update these every 10 years. So we've provided an application for this grant and received funding for it. The master transportation plan update includes the following: traffic counts throughout the community, identification of existing and future traffic needs, including a 20th Street South corridor study and an update to the 22nd Avenue corridor study, future projects that will help improve the city's transportation network, review and suggested standards and methods to account for traffic generated by new development. This project is scheduled to start this summer and to finish at the end of 2025. The total cost for this study is $200,000, of which 80% will be covered by the grant. The remaining $40,000 will be funded by the city. There are sufficient appropriations in the CIP account for this contract. Public Works is again excited about this project and recommends that the grant agreement be assigned by the city. I stand here for any questions you may have.
Thanks, Charlie. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, council questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Specker,
Aye.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
Norton,
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Okay, item 14, city council member introduction of topics for future discussion. Councilmember Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a request. Staff will keep us in the loop, but I think it would be helpful if there is progress on what was item 12D tonight, the acres situation, that you can bring that back to us and provide us an update. We understand that the dollars we approved tonight really were a ceiling and a worst case scenario. I think it would be helpful, given the conversation tonight, that we just continue to keep the public aware of whether or not we have to trigger the usage of any of those dollars moving forward.
Okay. for a resolution on that? All right. Okay, and then, any other members have anything they want to bring up? Okay, I'm just gonna, we do have a executive session this evening, but I'll talk about what we got coming up. Study session on May 21st. There'll be presentation on Inclusive Play Project. I'm sure Kristen's all excited about telling us all about that. Presentation and discussion on the golf course water source. Presentation on child care funding, ARPA identified funds allocation consideration. Presentation on economic development master plan dashboard. And downtown safety. And then we do have another meeting coming up on the 28th. Currently, we have no first readings. Second readings, we have a couple of malt reviews or renewals for establishments that haven't failed on a compliance check in the past 12 months, which have failed, I'm sorry. And then temporary alcohol application for Brookings Cubs Baseball Group. And then fees update from the Finance Department. And then, of course, the progress report from the assistant to the city manager that on that meeting also. Okay. What's that? Bonnie, do you have an item? Question?
Yeah, I just send out the state and if there's state or city laws about the violations before that meeting.
Sure, I can do that ahead of the council packet.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll proceed into executive session. There will not be any business afterwards. We will adjourn immediately after executive session is done. Executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2.3 for the purpose of counseling with legal counsel or reviewing communications from legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters, and SDCL 1-25-2.5 for the purpose of discussing marketing or pricing strategies by a board or commission of a business owned by the state of any of its political subdivisions, when public discussion may be harmful to the competitive position of the business. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Those all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are in executive session.